Hey guys, welcome to another broker training. Um, I'm excited today. We have an amazing topic and also some amazing people with us. Jared Hardy, lead agent in our team in our brokerage, and also Jake Freites, lead agent, um, also in the brokerage. So thank you guys for being with me today.
Glad to be
Good to
here.
be here.
Good. I'm excited about the topic today. We're gonna help the agents a little bit and give them some idea. And the topic today is lead generation and strategies. We had some conversations before the training and regarding our top three lead generation strategies, and I'm really excited about it. And it happened to be that all three of us pretty much concentrate mainly in three things, or our business is. Pretty much the same lead sources. So that being said, we're gonna go deep into that because we're only gonna share three. So, Jared, get us started. What's your first lead source? I mean, you've been doing amazing in the team. So is Jake. You guys are closing many deals. I think as agents in the team or solo agent, independent agents, I think we want to do good, and our business is all about having leads. And if you don't have leads, you don't have a business. And if you don't have leads, you don't have closings. If you don't have closings, you're not making any dough, any money. So that's why I'm excited about the lead generation strategies, because when you're starting as an agent, you don't know where to start. You don't know how to create your next client. So tell me, what's your number one lead generation strategy?
First off, kind of what you were touching on, lead generation is the most important thing in real estate, right? If you're not generating leads, you're not going to be successful, right? If you can be the best at generating leads, no matter how good your sales skills are, you're going to be successful. You're going to close a lot of deals if you can get in front of a lot of people and get talking to interested people. So starting off, my best lead source has been my sphere. It's been, and everyone has a different definition of what their sphere is. It can be, you're creating new contacts, right? As you're doing open houses or talking to people when you're in the grocery store, expanding that network. For me, it's been my family and my close friends. So it's been, what I've been able to do to stay in front of them, stay top of mind. My business plan probably looks a little bit different than other realtors. I don't go super heavy on traditional marketing. It's been more, I try to meet with my friends and family. We'll go out to lunch, we'll hang out, we'll, go out off-roading, and, naturally real estate gets brought up and we talk about it. So that's kind of how I've been able to stay in front of my sphere and remind them that I do real estate.
Wait a minute. You do real estate while you're doing what, off-roading? What you're doing what you love?
That's the beauty. Yeah, you can do whatever you like to do. And it doesn't have to be, your family, your friends. If you like pickleball, then go join a pickleball, club and build those relationships with the people there. Naturally, work gets brought up. As long as you keep reminding them that, hey, that's what I do. And if you sound knowledgeable, if they trust you, then you're going to get business from it.
Love that. Thanks so much, Jared. Jake, I mean, we talked about this training, and all the three of us pretty much agreed to the three source of leads that we're going to be talking today, and we all agree that the number one source of business for us is sphere. Do you agree with the definition there that Jared had? And can you add something? What's your definition of a sphere? And anything else to add to what Jared said?
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I like to think of, my sphere or my, sphere of influence. I kind of like to think it in terms of circles of influence, right? So if I'm the nucleus, right, of this, I don't know why the word nucleus is funny, but if I'm at the center of this, of these
like
concentric circles, you know, some of those circles are going to consist of family and friends. Some of them are going to be past clients, business affiliates, service people. There are lots of different rings that make up that circle or that sphere. I think one of the things I have been most successful in doing, and one that has brought, I think, the most rewarding business, is by turning past clients into, sort of bringing a client into my sphere, during the transaction process and then beyond. So I've made some very good friends and some great contacts just by, people who got introduced to me either, as a lead or somebody that I hadn't really met before I started helping them purchase a home. So I focus a lot on kind of bridging that gap between client and then, close contact. And some of my best transactions have been from past clients and returning clients who have then referred me to their friends and their family. So I'm all about expanding those circles to include not just my friends and family, but the friends and family of my past clients, the friends and family of the people I've done business with, and so on.
Why is it better to start with your sphere? Why what are your thoughts on that? Why do you feel like agents can have more success talking to and converting sphere instead of other lead sources like Trulia, Realtor.com, stuff like that?
So a lot of realtors, they when they first get their license, I was one of these where I thought, great, I want to go spend a ton of money on creating leads through Zillow or from social media, Facebook ads. You're going to spend a lot of money and you're going to spin your wheels a lot. The best return on investment is investing your time or some kind of dollar into getting in front of your sphere. It's easier to convert them. You already have that relationship. So yeah, I mean, Sphere has been way more successful for me for converting leads and generating that business.
Return on investment, I love that, is exponentially higher than any other lead source because Sphere is pretty much free, right? And I say pretty much because you can do intentionally invest money to work and do things with your Sphere. What else, Jake? Why is it easier, or why are we recommending newer agents, or people that are restarting or trying to increase their business? Why are we suggesting spheres?
From my perspective, I think now more than ever, we live in a referral-based economy, right? People want to do business with other people they know and trust, or at the very least, they want to do business with somebody or purchase a product that somebody they know or care about has used and had experience with and liked it, right? I mean, we kind of live and die by reviews, right? My wife and I, if on the occasion that we have a date night, the first thing she does is pull out Yelp, right? And she starts reading reviews, or contacts like her close friends or checks their Instagram feeds to see like, oh, well, she posted a picture of her sushi. Like, where was the place that she went to, right? People are looking to their own spheres for other people that they trust doing business with. And I'll call out the youngest generation. I don't know, the tail end of the millennials and then kind of Gen Z right now.
He's taking credit.
It's important to look at that demographic because it is a demographic, people who are in their early 20s up to late 20s, early 30s, grew up in a very, very different world than I did. I mean, the internet was a thing from the time they were born on. And so they have grown up saturated with social media, with spam and like this constant barrage of outside influences, not just through TV and traditional forms of media, but online all the time. And the more I do business with people like in their mid-20s, they don't trust anything. in terms of social media, because it's all just white noise, right? And I'm seeing a real resurgence in people wanting to meet face to face, to have human interaction. I mean, to say nothing of the quarantine and everything that we've been through with the pandemic this year, but people are starving, whether they know it or not, for actual human contact, right? And they want to do business with people. If they're hesitant about purchasing a home, they're going to be even more so if they're dealing with a nameless, faceless agent that they got a call from because of a lead on the internet. But if somebody's sister-in-law had a great experience with so-and-so, that's who they're going to gravitate to first.
Absolutely. I think people like to do business with people that they know, they like, and they trust, right? And just keep in mind those 3 boxes, because you have to check those boxes with everyone that is around you. And the trust, I think, is probably, out of those 3 things, is probably the most powerful when it comes to real estate, when it comes to doing business with someone else. So the disadvantage of working these leads, of Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, whatever leads you're working, those sources, it takes time to create that trust, right? It's going to take probably a few meetings, a few conversations. And I do feel like with your sphere, that is already there, or should already be there. Like, you don't have to invest meetings and conversations on creating that, I think, and we always talked about this, but I think as an agent, you should go after the low hanging fruit, right? And I always share with you guys a experience that I had at an open house, experience / confession that I was at an open house, kind of walking around, wasting a little bit of time, and I saw this tree with a lot of oranges, and I came up with the teaching opportunity for you guys for the training. But the analogy pretty much was, I brought a ladder and I brought a broom or something that I found to get the oranges that I thought were more juicy and bigger up there, up in the tree. And when I climb up there with the ladder and the broom, I found myself. I found the oranges were already being eaten by the birds and stuff. So there's more competition up there, right? It's always easier to grab the oranges that are closest to us, the oranges that are around us, and it will be it was for me super easy to get some oranges from the bottom of the tree, which I did. And by the way, I felt bad while doing it, so I called the listing agent, because I was doing it at a house that wasn't my listing. So, but that's my analogy of the low hanging fruit. Look what's around you. Like, why would you spend $300-500 a month to talk to strangers? And it will take you a while to generate that trust. And you have already people that already know you and already trust you and hopefully already like you, right? So anything to add to that, guys? Sphere.
I'll add, it can seem like it takes longer initially, because, maybe not someone in your sphere is thinking about moving right now. So it is tempting to pay for those leads, those online leads, because there's somebody today that clicked that they were interested in a property. But you're right, it's harder to convert them. When you're starting your business, spend the time up front to build the relationships with your sphere, to let them know you're a realtor and trust you, and it's going to pay back tenfold. Because then they're going to use you when they buy. Then when their friends or their family members buy, they're going to recommend you as well. So it's totally worth it.
Go ahead, Jake. Anything to add? Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, there are, I think even people that we meet through our sphere. Let's say my, I don't know, my wife's aunt or something, recommends her neighbors who are moving to Arizona, right? So technically, those are still in my sphere, but I don't know these people at all. to me, those are, even though they've come from a trusted referral source, I treat those kinds of leads the same way I would if somebody responded to an inquiry, or did a text for info, or clicked on an ad online. Typically our first encounter is going to be online, and my goal, regardless of where that where the lead source is to get that interaction from online to offline as soon as possible. So to schedule, my first goal is not necessarily to pre-qual, or it's not necessarily financial or whatever. My first goal when I'm courting a new lead is to make sure we have a close, meaningful face-to-face conversation as soon as possible. Sometimes that means stopping by their house. Sometimes that means going to check out a model home together. Any excuse I have to spend even 15, 20 minutes face-to-face with the person, maybe we meet at Starbucks or something. There's no replacement for human contact. Like they say something like 70% of our communication is actually body language. So it's the things that we don't say that help create that connection. So regardless of where your lead comes from, it's very, very important in my experience to turn that interaction into real face-to-face interaction as soon as possible.
I think that's the key with these other sources of leads that we could pay for, and they can send us names and numbers and people requesting information on a house, whatever. I think the key, like you said, Jake, is get face to face with them as soon as possible, right? That's where you could potentially, or the idea will be to transition them from a lead to someone that you trust, or from a lead to someone in your sphere. Now they know you. Hopefully, they trust you. You're knowledgeable. You know the subdivision. You know the neighborhood, and you know the house that you're going to show, and that's what is going to generate trust. Really quick, guys. I'm a brand new agent in town. Moved into Arizona a few weeks ago. I got my license. And I don't have a sphere. What are you guys talking about? Like, I don't know anybody. Quick strategy, Jared, and quick strategy, Jake, on what should I do with not knowing anybody.
Yeah, so we hear that all the time, right? Agents that move here from out of state, because there's a lot of those that say they don't know anybody. But, do you go to the gym? Okay, there's people there that you talk to. Do your kids go to school? Okay, there's people there that you talk to. And then, like I said, just choose something that you like and become active. If you like croquet, join a croquet club. Whatever it is, just get out there, get active, make as many new contacts as you can. And that's how you can grow your sphere.
Yeah. Absolutely. Jake, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, my recommendation would be basically the same. But when I'm talking to agents or whoever about, how to tackle that question of, well, I don't know anybody, I'm new in town. Well, wherever you came from, you weren't always new. This applies, the same principle applies to, kids starting a new school as it does people moving into a new place when you're a grown up. Who are your people, right? Like, what kinds of people do you like hanging out with? What did you do socially before you moved here, like on a regular basis? And then just seek out those connections. If you're a musician, or if you play basketball, whatever it is, seek out every opportunity you have to have interactions with people. And my last bit of advice is, as you're making these new connections, it's vitally, vitally important to focus on being interested versus interesting. And what I mean by that is, approach these new connections as organically as you can. If you show a genuine interest in somebody else, instead of trying to make yourself seem interesting to them, you're going to be a lot more successful. And basically, the formula I have for that, anytime I'm encountering somebody new, is to pay them a compliment and then ask them a question.
Nice.
and then listen. And the more interested we are in the other person, there's nothing people like to talk about more than themselves. And when people give an opportunity to let someone else do that, the trust starts. That's where the connection begins. And if they open up a little bit, you have an opportunity to let them open up a little more. You know, it makes the whole rapport building process very short.
I love that. That amazing information, guys. Really quick, two things that came to mind is one that Jared mentioned that I think was super interesting, and also I think effective is what is it that you like to do? You know, do you like to play sport? Do you like to cook? Do you like to ride ATVs? In this day and age, I mean, there is groups and social media groups for anything that you do and anything that you like, hiking, running, Ironmans, whatever. Even for vehicles, depending on the vehicle you drive, you can join groups with those vehicles. So become the with your strategies, Jake, because I like what you shared a minute ago. With your strategies, become the agent of those groups, right? Or at least let everyone know what you do, church activities, sports, whatever. You on conversations being more interested than interesting. I love that. Become the agent, let everyone know what you do. That's amazing info, guys. What's the number 2 strategy, guys, that we love, that we use? I mean, you guys are constantly working this. This is not something that you learn somewhere. This is what you're doing on a daily basis. What's the second thing that you guys are doing to generate leads?
Well, Jake touched on it already a little bit, and that's referrals for me. So, referrals are huge. You have to get referrals. Referrals are the second easiest business, right? So you do a deal for your aunt. She loves you. You gained her trust, and now all of a sudden, 6 months down the road, when her friend that she works with is saying that she's going to buy a house, you're the first name that pops up, right? So referrals are just a super good way to build your business as well. One thing is, so there's with your sphere, having them refer you, and then also past clients are huge too. So the number one thing with getting referrals is, one, asking for referrals. I know that sounds silly, but most agents are afraid to ask for referrals. At the end of the transaction, we just kind of smile, say thanks, we give them the keys, and then we don't talk to them again. That's basically how it goes for 90% of the realtors out there. But at that time when we're giving them the keys, that's a perfect opportunity to ask them, hey, I really appreciate you using me. It means a lot. Do you know anyone else who's looking to buy or sell? They're all super excited. They love you right now. You're giving them the keys to the house. So that's when you're going to get the highest chance of getting a referral from them. On top of that, I try to just stay top of mind with them, right? Even if I'm not getting, even if they're not going to buy a house 6 months from now, if I stay in front of them, then odds are they're going to give me more referrals as well too. And that looks like sending them market updates, sending them postcards, sending them, you just give them a phone call, checking in with them, doing client appreciation events, just things to stay top of mind.
I love that. So one thing that I came to mind when you were saying that is, we do such a good job with our clients. I think all of the agents do give 110% on providing good service. All the agents in the brokerage do, and are amazing at what they do. Well, that is good, right? And you're supposed to do that, but use that momentum and love that you created with your client, and use that opportunity to also give yourself more business, right, in the future. I love that. Jake, what else do we have to say about referrals?
Well, I think like Jared's talked a lot about referrals because they are super important. But he mentioned also staying top of mind with clients. And sometimes our clients move away and they're out of state. But there's two things that I do that have really helped me kind of maintain that relationship beyond the closing of the transaction. So for one, for probably, I don't know, I would guess a good 3/4 of my past clients, at some point during the transaction, even if it's maybe toward the end, I end up friending or following them on social media. So, we become Facebook friends, we become Instagram friends. And if they're, relatively active on social media, there are going to be all sorts of cues and opportunities for me by staying plugged into like the documentary of their life from closing onward, to stay interested in their life. Like last week, I had lunch with a client I helped sell and purchase a home. She's just right around the corner from our office here. And I said, hey, I just called her up out of the blue and said, we haven't had lunch for a while. How about, Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. What do you think? Let's meet at Backyard Tacos. And she was just beaming. I mean, she was so excited. And I've really been trying to do a lot more of that when they're local, to spring a phone call out of the blue or, drop by their house if it's appropriate. But at the very minimum, become friends on Facebook and Instagram, and then just kind of, comment on their posts, kind of stay plugged in and connected and interested in their life. You don't have to sell them again, right? If you stay present in their life to some degree and you had a great experience, you're never going to have to remind them again that you're an agent and you would love to help them do business again, right? It's just about maintaining the relationship at that point. And I think that's one of the biggest missed opportunities that I have identified in the past. And as I've focused on it more, for one, the relationships are enriching in and of themselves, but if I'm staying involved with people's lives, I tend to be more first of mind on, in their life. And when they do have friends or family, I get a lot more referrals that way. So, and it's fun.
Absolutely. I think both the first topic that we discussed, sphere and referrals, go hand in hand, right? It's about caring for people. It's about getting to know people. It's about being a good human being, and at the same time letting them know that you're an agent, even though if they're not looking to do anything with their house right now. Each individual has so many people, their own spheres around them, and they might refer you, and you need to position yourself as the number one real estate agent in their mind. And you don't have to be, a salesperson, an annoying person. You just have to let them know that you care and you're interested in them, and then they'll be interested on you. So sphere was the second one. Thank you so much, guys. Great knowledge. What's the third one?
The third one, for all three of us, was our team. So we have kind of a unique setup in that, we have a team that produces leads for us as well. So these are the, non-sphere, non-referral leads. These are still super important. So we have 4 full-time inside sales agents that they make cold calls. They take all the inbound calls from our signs. They scrub the leads, filter them, make sure they're checking all the boxes. They get them qualified with the lender. So that's another huge source for us as well, is these team generated leads.
Perfect, Jared. What do you have to say about anything to say about ISA leads, Jake?
Yeah,
or team
so
leads.
People on the team have heard me say this a lot. Like the ISA or team generated leads are just they're just friends I haven't met yet. Right. And so as I'm going out to meet, whether it's a buyer, I'm meeting at a property for the first time, my goal is still the same. I want to make face-to-face human contact as soon as possible. And sometimes that first interaction may have everything to do with getting right down to business. But everyone's on a different point, on a curve. Everyone's timeline is going to be a little bit different. And so just, going into that first encounter, not without expectation, but with a very limited set of expectations. And my first goal, when I make initial contact with with that new lead, is to find some common thread, something that we share in common, a mutual interest. We happen to grow up in the same town and we never knew each other or whatever, or I really like underwater basket weaving. Doesn't matter what it is. But I'm asking, I'm staying interested in these people, and I'm asking things throughout the course of a conversation, asking about their family, asking about their interests, what they do for a career, what their spouse does for a career. Why did they move here in the first place? Oh, really? Me too. I've just gotten very used to asking as many questions as I need to until, 4 or 5 questions into any interaction, there's going to come that one thing where you go, oh, boom, that's our connection right there. And that outer circle just got a little more close to being an inner circle. And so that's my goal, is to create, like I said, they're friends I just haven't met yet. So my first goal is to create that connection. And then every step beyond that is going to be more like taking care of a referral than it is trying to convince somebody that you're the best agent out there.
And that's crucial, like you said, to create that relationship, right? Because odds are, if they are driving around, calling our for sale signs, they've called 20 other agents as well that are reaching out to them. Or if they responded to our social media posts, they've responded to 20 other agents. So whatever we can do to, like you said, bring them into our sphere or make friends with them, find that commonality, things are going to separate us from the 20 other realtors they're talking to, the better odds we have. And we have to be more aggressive with these leads too, initially, especially because we don't have that relationship with them yet. Right. If we get this lead and we don't call them for 2 hours, odds are they're gone. They've already talked to another realtor that's going to open the door for them, is going to show them the house, take them around. They've already put them up on a safe search. So you have to be super aggressive and proactive with these non-sphere leads.
Yeah, and if it takes us 2 hours to follow up with somebody who's expecting a call right away, from the get-go, we don't seem very interested, do we? Right? And it's
absolutely. Our team does an amazing job at pre-screening these leads, capturing these leads, getting them ready to talk to an agent. What comes next is your skills, and I think we already discussed this, is your ability to make them, I'm not going to say friends, but make them into someone that they trust. They trust you, and showing up on time to the appointment, meeting them at the house, and also providing a ton of value. Hey, besides this house that I'm going to show you, I also found another 2 that are pretty much the same features and the same number of bedrooms, same number of bathrooms. If you guys are okay, I have them ready. Like Jared said, you're competing. I mean, you're competing with what, 80,000 agents today in Arizona. So it's you have to present yourself as a very proactive, very trustworthy, very knowledgeable agent, and you do it through simple things, through the follow-up, being proactive, reacting really fast, and contacting them quick. So amazing information, guys. I appreciate your time. Lead generation strategies with Jared and Jake. Grow your sphere, concentrate on your sphere. I think that's that we all agree that's our number one source of leads. And if you don't have a sphere, work on creating a sphere, work on joining groups. Number one. The second one goes along with that is get referrals. If you're not getting referrals, it's probably because you don't have a big sphere or you're not asking for them. And number 3 is same thing. You can have a lead generation source. In our case, we have our amazing ISA or amazing team generating leads from us. Make sure you don't waste those opportunities. Make sure you're very sharp and you're in your A game. Thank you guys for the information. You have an amazing day.
Thanks. You too.
You too. Thanks, Damian.